Hello. Okay, so pomegranates are on sale. I like pomegranates. So I decided I'd do a video on pomegranates because they're on sale and I enjoy them. So, pomegranates were first grown around modern day in modern day Iran, northern India area. Um, Spread Mediterranean or along the Mediterranean, um, parts of Egypt or parts of Asia, and didn't say which parts it expanded to. Obviously, northern India is part of Asia, but to Asia, it didn't say where anywhere I could find. Uh, Throughout the Middle East, over to the Americans, and even so, America Southwest, they grow pomegranates. So in Texas were mentioned, New Mexico wasn't. Perhaps it was too dry there, because it does take a dry, warm climate to grow pomegranates in. Now, pomegranates are interesting. You open them up, and yes, they're actually a QR code you could scan to find out how to open a pomegranate. I didn't do this. I, of course, went online and just did a normal search. So perhaps there are more than one way. So there probably are more than one ways. Because I don't do it the way they do it online. So basically, they're saying you take it, you cut around, take that part off, then you cut along the membranes, and you can peel it back slowly. And you're going through all this. Why are you going through all this process? Well, that's because, the insides of pomegranates are sort of interesting. That's one of the reasons I decided to do a video is on the inside more than anything. They have different names. I looked these up online. Some of these, not sure how accurate they are because different sites sort of had different things going on. So you have the outer rind, and most people agree this is called the rind. It's also sometimes called the pericarp. So the top end here, this is where it would flower on the tree. This is the calyx. The other end, the stem, where it would be connected to the tree, so it'd be hanging from a branch or whatever from here. This is called the peduncle. Then you got the rind inside here. So this would be, if I were to slice this in half like this, I would see about 5 sections, maybe 4 sections inside. Along the edges here, I believe it's along the flatter ends here, there would be this thick, rindy, spongy-like substance, which pith or membranes. So one thing says the thicker part is called the carpel, and then there is the carpellar membrane, which is the thinner parts, which divided into sections inside. And also, the top here would also have its own section. So there would be like, again, if I were to slice this in half, you'd see about 4 or 5 sections sort of around the end here. But also this part, if I were to cut it in half this way, then you would see that this part had its own section almost. Sometimes this is actually split in two. So and then we got these carpels, the thick parts. That's where the seeds are attached. And they're actually going inward from there. So the seeds are like attached to the outer rind, but they're pointed inward. And so they're called arils. And so the seed has the fruit around it, and it's an aril. So it's really not like watermelon where you got all the fruit and you got the seeds in it. Instead, you got all these seeds, and it's like each seed is like an individual fruit almost, having its own aril around it. So, we talk about pomegranate seeds, and we're really talking about the arils as well as the seeds. And that's what I like about that is it's like popcorn. You can just eat these, and like I said, I don't do it the way they online. I basically just go at it with my fingernails, scrape it open, expose one of these segments inside, 4 to 6 segments according to the internet. So that's how it's split up. And again, you got these thinner membranes, the carpellar membranes, splitting it into sections. So I can eat one of those, put this in the refrigerator, eat another one the next. So I don't have to eat this all in one go. I can eat it in sections if I want, make it last longer, because like I said, these are expensive. Even when they're on sale, they're sort of expensive. And again, it's like popcorn. It takes a while. You aren't just eating and eating and eating, or you are eating and eating and eating. You're just not cramming yourself. You're eating really small portions at a time. So it's you know, those times when you're not really hungry but you just want something to eat, like when you're watching television. Sometimes you get that feeling. I'm doing nothing. I want to do something. Well, let's eat, but I'm not really hungry. Pomegranates are great for that because you're eating them very slow, so you're not getting a lot of calories and all. You're getting vitamins from them. And again, you don't have to eat the whole thing at once. You can just eat one section, put it in the refrigerator. It's good for, actually, it's good for a week or so. Just, one section at a time. So this is like a week's worth of snacks here. Okay, so I have sometimes come across the term pomegranate spoon. And so in my mind, I thought, okay, this is a special spoon made for eating pomegranates. Maybe the bowl part is a little sharper so you can get through the rind, and then you can scoop the seeds out. No, apparently that's not what it is. I looked that up because I decided, what does this look like? This is just a decorative spoon with a pomegranate design on it. Saw some pictures online. They'd have the spoon, and the handle would have these weird little. It looks maybe. So I saw those pictures of those. I thought, okay, so you take the handle part and you use that to push the cut it into the rind. Then you scoop it with the spoon. Apparently not. That's just a decorative thing. Generally, they're used for tea. So a teaspoon with a little pomegranate design on it is a pomegranate spoon. Also saw some reference to them being used for makeup for some reason. I don't wear makeup, so I don't know what a pomegranate spoon would be used for. Maybe that's an older thing and not a more modern, I don't know. Then I saw some references to for how to peel these. You cut them open, and some things say, just beat it with a wooden spoon to get the seeds out after you've got it cut open and segmented. And so I saw one or two pages say the wooden spoon is called a pomegranate spoon. I don't know. Maybe that is. Again, all I do, I go at it with my fingernails and just sometimes with my teeth, just tear into the rind until I expose the rills and then eat them. So I don't need fancy spoons. Now, like I said, these are generally 4 to 6 segments inside. Which I found interesting. Some people say, pomegranates were the original forbidden fruit. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. It wasn't apples. It was probably pomegranates. And they get that primarily from Persephone. Yeah, Persephone story, I think. She was kidnapped by Hades, taken to the underworld. Her mother decided to make winter time because she was upset her daughter had been stolen away, Demeter. That's how we get winter, supposedly. So the other god said, no, you got to return her. But Hades said, wait, she ate part of a pomegranate. And therefore, by the rules of Hades, she must stay down here. And so they came up with she ate 4 pomegranate seeds, so she makes very little sense to me. Can you only eat 4 pomegranate seeds? Like I said, it's a little like popcorn. Once you start, you sort of want to keep doing it. So you finish off a section, okay, I'll stop now. But it's sort of hard to do a half a section and then just, I'll stop. Secondly, as a mathematician, I'm thinking, so if she ate 5 seeds, would we only have winter for 1/5 of the year? 6 seeds, 1/6 of the year. The more seeds she eats, the less time we have winter. Come on, Persephone. Don't worry about gaining weight, just eat more pomegranate. So I'm wondering if the original story, it wasn't she ate 4 seeds, it was she ate 1/4 of the seeds. It would take a Greek expert and someone who actually has the older text to look at it and say, hey, that makes more sense, and maybe it did actually mean that. I don't know. Like I said, not a Greek expert. Can't really I can question the story. I just can't really comment on whether my questioning is accurate or not. That's the job for someone who knows the language better. So that is it. Like I said, pomegranates, I like them. They're delicious, full of antioxidants according to some of the ads. So that's good for you. You can, it takes a while to eat one, so you can snack on it without gaining a lot of weight because it's just a slow thing. And it is sort of like popcorn. Once you start eating it, you want to keep eating it until you at least finish a segment. That's it. Have a nice day. Enjoy a pomegranate. And this does not want to turn off on me.